everyone, and welcome to my pretty channel. If you're new here, my name is Neeta. I'm an anxious doodler, and I started this channel with the intention to help people to doodle. And what better place to start doodling other than your journal? I mean, journaling is a beautiful way to maintain your mental health, and I decided since doodling was helping my anxiety, I figured I might as well add some pretty doodles to my journal. Okay? So, let's get into it. So, I really started out this journal with the intention to use up these beautiful miniso gel pens that I found at the local miniso. I was excited because they're pastel colors and they were really nice, and I said, hey, let's use some of them. And then I realized that they pretty much look like the beautiful highlighter pens that I have been buying myself over the years, and I did a patch test to show you the same, and I realized that, hey, this is a beautiful option, let me do something with it. I also realized that these gel pens color comes out beautifully on a black background, and I took out some black paper, made some pretty squares, and decided to randomly doodle. So I started out by drawing some horizontal parallel lines with my pens. When I set out the beautiful black squares on the black lines, I realized it was a little too black and white for me because I'm not a black and white person, and I love my life to be filled with all sorts of colors. So when I saw black and white, I realized, hey, let's add some color to the background, and I pulled out my highlighters and I started drawing random horizontal lines with my highlighters in random orders. So after I was done with that, I decided to stick the little square pieces on top of the colors, and I think I was extremely satisfied with the overall results of the random piece of abstract art. So the past 6 months have been emotionally overwhelming for me. I had 2 major events that happened, and dealing with the whole situation has been extremely taxing on my brain, and I think somewhere like my fuse has gone puss, and because it decided to short circuit, my brain decided instead of writing April, we are gonna write the month of March. Yes, I messed up, and I didn't realize that until the next day, and I realized I need to fix that. But before I move on to fixing that, I of course did not realize I had messed up at that point. I was filling up the left side page with my highlighter ink and creating this really retro, psychedelic, vibrant background. I needed a really quick quote to write on my cover page to remind myself how amazing I am. And one of the things that my anxiety has taught me is that it's perfectly normal to be flawed. If perfection was the whole end game, then we'd all be robots, we'd all look the same. There would be no difference between me, my mom, my dad, my pet cat, if I had one, anyhow. There would be no difference between anybody in this world. We'd all be the same. And, well, what would be the point of life if we were all the same, right? I think we're all uniquely flawed, and it's important to embrace your flaws. because your flaws make you unique. These pretty black squares is pretty much where I ended up using the gel pens. It's the only place where I ended up using the gel pens. And to be honest, the gel pens were a little not so fluidly flowing. They're good, but I'd say I've actually not come across very good quality gel pens here in India. I guess it is because we are in India, we don't get such good quality gel pens, but you know, the darker shades are always better than the lighter shades, and I'd give these pens a 5 out of 10 because I'm not very happy with them. But overall, I think it did the job, so okay. So anyway, once that was all done, I found my amazing pot of black ink. Since I barely use my ink pens, I might as well use my ink to cover up this very significant mess that I managed to create. And I fill the whole empty March space with black ink to create this big black vast hole of darkness, like the beautiful anxious mind of my brain. Beautiful anxious state of my brain. So when I realized I did not put a mini calendar this time, but to be honest, I haven't really looked at my mini calendar because I have a phone. I don't usually look at my calendars. I even struggle sometimes to write important dates on my diary. I eventually do. And most of all, I use my journal only to write a brief about all the key events of my life. And I realized that I don't use my journal, even though I sit with it maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I don't actually use it or do justice to my journals. I just write down key events that happen throughout the week, and I usually keep them brief in 2 or 3 lines. So I did not want to make something too elaborate for weekly spreads. Now, weekly spreads, I love the way the more professional bullet journalists have a very set way of creating things like habit trackers, mood trackers, but the more I track my habits, the more it makes me anxious. So consciously, I choose not to put trackers in my journal. I don't track my habits because I know I don't need to. I don't want to go down an anxious spiral, and I don't want to go into a self-critical, overthinking, over-analytic to the point where I start feeling worthless. I don't want that situation. So I tell myself, hey, it's okay. We will get to mood trackers and sleep trackers and all sorts of trackers when I am in a mentally more stable state of mind. Or maybe never, because hey, I mean, you don't have to be that organized in life. You just need something fun to do. And that's why I mostly doodle in my journal, because I definitely don't use my journal to plan out things. I use my journal only to keep key moments of my life as a record, if you know what I'm saying. I know that's supposed to be the job of your diary, but I've stopped using a diary for like forever. I don't even know, is diary an outdated term? Let me know in the comments below. So I'm not sure what I was thinking when I decided to highlight one side of my page, but I'm pretty sure I liked what I did and I was happy with my decision. So I moved forward into dividing the page into 7 equal parts, only to realize that, oh my god, like I should have divided it into 8 spaces, leaving some space for the header and footer, but my brain is my brain and it didn't do that, and I realized, okay, I'm gonna have to club my Saturday and Sunday into one space. and I use 6 squares to demarcate the different days. Well, it doesn't really matter that I have extra space for Saturday and Sunday, because usually Saturday and Sunday, for now I have classes on Saturday, but Saturdays and Sundays are usually the days on which I don't plan anything, because if I don't have friends to meet, I'm pretty much gonna be fast asleep. Okay? Anyhow, the huge black empty space that I decided to leave on the other half of my journal is pretty much to write all my keynotes and my keynote events that happen through the week, and anything I'm proud of, and gratitude, and any random thing that I think of throughout the week. Of course, there's a separate page that I usually leave in the end for brain dump, but I just need to record things I feel proud of, the things I'm grateful of, and that's why I always have one space specifically to write down reflections of what happened throughout the week. I really wanted to fill the black squares with the days of the week, the date specifically, but my genius brain I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and weekend, that's 6 and 7, and then I realized that this month's weekend is actually on the 2nd and 3rd, and I realized I messed it up. But anyhow, let's go back and fix it. I decided to go back and fix it by writing the day and the date and the day right next to the square. Maybe I ate up into this space like I shouldn't have, but yeah, we make mistakes while creating our own spreads, and we're human, so let's take a moment to forgive yourself for small mistakes you make while creating your journals. Remember, your journal is not for aesthetic purposes, it's not for perfection. When you see some of the bigger bullet journalists more popular bullet journalists on YouTube, it's important to remember that these guys have had years of experience. They've probably been doing it for over 3 to 5 years and have perfect understanding of where they're going, how they're going. So even if they create mistakes, you're probably not gonna notice them because they are experts. And that's exactly what I tell myself every time I make a mistake. I just started my channel and I need to forgive myself for all these pretty mistakes that I keep making. For quote of the month, I was short on time. I was short on time and I wasn't sure what I wanted to write or what message I wanted to give. So exactly like what I wrote on my cover page, I decided to write, "You are uniquely flawed," because we are all flawed human beings, and to be honest, our flaws make us unique. I think you know that. If we all look the same, if we all walk the same, if we all talk the same, and if we all did the same things, we'd all be programmed robots. There would be no difference between a robot and a human being. And your flaws make you unique. You can choose to see the good or the bad side of your flaws. Well, I'm flawed. I know I'm a hyper anxious person and my anxiety can be crippling sometimes, but I think I'm learning to find a way to balance out my anxiety with all the other 10,000 things that I want to do. Okay? Yeah, and last but not least, like always, I have a last page to write my notes, to write the feelings and the emotions and the ideas that I come up with throughout the month, and I didn't want to complicate my spread. So, this is the final spread. Take a look. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what I can improve on, and let me know in the comments below if you have any better ideas in your mind. Or just say hi And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay? Until next time, bye.